In this lecture, we're going to see how we can bring our box container class to a point where it can work with algorithms that expect random access iterators. And we are going to be using the sort algorithm as a use case here. So we're going to set up a box container object. We're going to try and sort it using the sort algorithm, and we're going to fail first. Then we're going to build this feature into box container to get this code here to work. And the sort algorithm needs a random access iterator. And for an iterator to be random access or to have random access capabilities, it needs a bunch of methods, and these are the methods you see here. We need a plus equals method, which is going to move us to the next slot by using an offset here. For example, we can take an iterator and add a 5, and that's going to move us 5 slots ahead. We need a plus operator, we need a plus equals operator, we need a minus operator, we need a minus operator, which is going to subtract from another iterator. We also need these operators you see here. We need a square bracket operator, we need a less than operator, a greater than operator, a less than or equal operator, a greater than or equal operator, a plus operator, and we also need an equals equals operator and a not equals operator, but we already had those before. So if we take these operators and add them to what we had before, we had minus minus to allow us to do bidirectional iterator stuff. We even had those operators needed by input and output iterators. We had plus plus, we had equals and not equals. We even had the dereference operator and the pointer access operator here. So if we put in all these operators, our box container is going to work even in instances where random access iterators are needed. And this is going to be really cool. So let's head over to Visual Studio Code and play with this a little more. Here we are in our working folder. The current project is custom random access iterator. We're going to grab the code from the last lecture because that's going to be much easier on us. And we're going to put the code in the current folder. And we're going to crack this open by dragging and dropping on top of Visual Studio Code here. This is going to give us our project. And as it is now, this is not going to work with our sorting algorithm here. Let's take out whatever it is we have here, and we are going to put in the code we want to work. You can see that the sorting algorithm is going to give us problems. We don't have any squiggly line, but if we build now, let's pass this through any of the compilers. You see we have the squiggly lines here. We're going to pass this through GCC, and this is going to fail, saying that we need some kind of random access iterators for our box container class. If you sift through this, you're going to see that, we require a random access range, and we don't have that in place. So box container doesn't provide random access iterators. And we know what we need to do. We just need to provide an additional bunch of operators to make this work as a random access iterator. So let's go down here and say random access, and we're going to go down and say random access, and we're going to say that this is the end of the block, and we are going to go in between here and put in all these operators that are needed to make this work as a random access iterators. I know this seems like a lot, and it is, but this is what is needed. A random access iterator is really the closest thing we get to getting an iterator work like a pointer. It's going to be able to support all the pointer arithmetic operations. We can add an offset on an iterator, we can subtract an offset, we can really do all kinds of crazy things. And this is going to enable our box container class work with the sorting algorithm as we have it right here. So we are using the ranges version to get support for using concepts to constrain our algorithm here. But now if we build, I think this is going to work. Oh, we also need to change the tag to say that this is a random access iterator. So we're going to come on top here and say that this is a random access iterator. It's a tag. And now if we build, I think this is going to work now. Let's pass this through the compiler. And if we have a problem, we're going to try and fix that out. Seems that the build is good. You see the build is good here. And our algorithm is really working on our box container, and this is really cool. Let's bring up a terminal window. That's what I want to do here, and I am failing. We can clear and run rooster. We're going to print our collection, then we're going to sort it, and we're going to print it again, and this is working really well. And if you made it this far in the course and in the chapter, congratulations. you are able to do pretty advanced things with your custom container, and this is really cool. This is really all I had to share in this lecture, showing you how you can get box container to work with the sorting algorithm that kind of expects random access iterators. This is even going to work if we use a range instead of an iterator pair, so we can just say box 1. And this is going to work. Let's pass this through the compiler. Let's say box 1 properly. And we're going to pass this through GCC. The build should be good. So the build is good. And if we clear and run this, we're going to see that this is going to work. This can even work if we use std namespace algorithms. So this is not going to be constrained using iterators, but this is going to work. For this, we need to provide iterator pairs. So we're going to say begin and box 1 and let's say and properly. And now if we build, this should work just fine. We're going to use GCC. The build is going to be good. We can clear and run Rooster, and we're going to get our code to work here. But I really like to use the ranges versions because it's going to make my code much safer. I am going to find problems easily if I mess things up. So let's say ranges here and build again. We're going to pass this through the compiler and the build should be good. Let's clear and run Rooster and everything is good. We are going to stop here in this lecture. In the next one, we are going to see how our box container now can work with views and ranges that we have in the C++20 ranges library. And that's going to be really cool. Go ahead and finish up here and meet me in the next lecture.